Your $500,000 home could lose $50,000 in value just because of one decision that, when you signed the contract with the contractor, you thought was absolutely right. In this video, I will point out 13 upgrades that, in 2026, you should stay far away from before it is too late. You'd be awesome if you liked this video. 13. Radiant floor heating under solid hardwood. Every year, thousands of homeowners in cold states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, or Michigan spend anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 to install radiant floor heating under a layer of solid hardwood. They imagine bare feet stepping onto a warm floor surface in the middle of winter, believing it is both a luxury and an investment. But after one or two heating seasons, many realize they are sitting on a ticking time bomb. Solid hardwood is a living material. It expands and contracts based on humidity and temperature. And this is not something you can control when the heat source sits directly underneath, operating continuously throughout the winter. The rising heat dries out the wood planks from the inside out, causing uneven shrinkage. The result is gaps visible to the naked eye between the planks or wood edges, warping upward in a form that flooring installers call cupping. With hydronic systems, just one leaking joint will destroy the floor from underneath for weeks before you see any signs on the surface. The cost to pry everything up for repairs ranges from $15 to $25 per square foot. For a 1,500 square foot floor, the bill can hit $37,500. And when selling the house, a hidden broken heating system does not add value. It is a reason for buyers to drive the price down. If you live in a cold region and truly want floor heating, the solution is not to scrap the idea but to ditch solid hardwood. Engineered hardwood that is certified for heat compatibility or porcelain wood look tile both withstand heat many times better without shrinking or warping. Porcelain tile also transfers heat more efficiently than wood, meaning you consume less energy to achieve the same level of warmth. The floor is not the only thing locked dead inside the walls. The next system is even harder to remove. 12. Closed smart home systems. You spend $15,000 on a hardwired Crestron or Control 4 system behind the walls, with touch panels in every room, running everything with a single tap. It sounds like the home of the future, but technology does not wait 10 years for you. It changes month by month. And when the manufacturer stops supporting the product line you are using, that wall-mounted panel becomes a dead piece of plastic. The core issue lies in the two words, hard-locked closed. A proprietary system forces every device to belong to the same manufacturer. Lights, blinds, door locks, and air conditioning all must be compatible within a single ecosystem. When you want to add a new device or replace a broken part, you have no choice but to go back to that exact brand, at whatever price they set. I know some people will say, "But I like the stability of a wired system." Fine, but look at reality. New connectivity standards like Matter and Thread are being co-supported by Apple, Google, and Amazon. This means that in the next 3 to 5 years, devices from any brand can talk to each other without needing a proprietary hub. And when you plan to sell the house, buyers do not want to inherit a complex system that they do not understand and cannot control. A better approach is to build a system where each part can be replaced independently. Prioritize smart switches over smart bulbs, because switches still function like regular switches when the system glitches. And always keep the traditional electrical system as the foundation. When you lose Wi-Fi, lose the hub, or lose your patience, you can still turn on the lights. The next upgrade is something most buyers will deduct straight from the price when they see it. And you are probably thinking it adds square footage. 11. Unreasonable garage conversions and ADU builds. There is one question that I wish every homeowner would ask themselves before calling a contractor. What am I actually adding, and what am I losing? Converting a garage into a living space or building an ADU, simply understood as a secondary living space on the same lot, always sounds very reasonable on paper. More square footage, more functionality, maybe even extra rental income. But this calculation misses an important part of the equation. A garage is not just a place to park cars. It is where you store seasonal items, repair tools, bicycles, boxes of Christmas decorations, and even things you do not know how to categorize but do not want to throw away yet. It acts as a buffer zone that keeps the rest of the house tidy. When you turn the garage into a home gym or a playroom, all those items do not disappear. They just move somewhere else, usually into bedrooms, hallways, and every other remaining empty corner. According to survey data, garage conversions only recoup about 50% of the investment cost when selling the house, because the majority of buyers view a garage as an essential feature. ADUs have their own traps too. A clean design that does not take up too much of the yard truly creates value. But when an ADU eats up almost the entire backyard, you are not adding living space. You are trading a flexible yard for a fixed-built structure. Many families discover after a few months, there is no longer room for the kids to run around, no more corner to place an outdoor table, and the backyard is now just a narrow pathway. If you truly need extra space, keep this rule in mind. Do not trade away essential functions. Retain at least half of the garage for cars and storage. 10. Excessive open concepts. Open concepts used to be something every buyer checked off when looking at a house. Airy, spacious, connected. But after the pandemic, when the home simultaneously became an office, a school, and a place to rest, a lot of families discovered an uncomfortable truth. There was nowhere left to find quiet. When you walk through the front door and see everything in a single glance, the kitchen, the dining table, the living room, that is not spaciousness. That is a lack of depth. The noise from the TV, the blender, and the kids, it all runs through the house with no stopping point. One person is in an online meeting in the kitchen corner. The other is watching a movie in the living room, and both can hear each other perfectly clear. Energy costs are also an issue few people calculate in advance. Cooling or heating an interconnected block of space of 800 to 1,000 square feet takes significantly more power than breaking it down into individual zones. The HVAC system has to run harder, electricity bills skyrocket, and yet the efficiency is poor because you cannot control the temperature of each specific area. The solution is not to go back to the rigidly divided house style of the 80s. It is to keep the connection but have boundaries when needed. Glass sliding doors between the kitchen and living room, pony walls, open shelves as partitions, or changing the floor height by just a few inches all create clear separation without losing the airy feel. 9. Above-ground pools. I have yet to meet a home buyer who looked at an above-ground pool in the backyard and said, "Great, this is exactly what I've been looking for." The first question they always ask is, how much does it cost to remove this? Above-ground pools are attractive because of their low initial cost and quick installation, but it almost never blends in with the overall look of the house. It looks like something that was added on, not something designed with it. After 1 or 2 summers, the surface fades, the metal frame begins to rust, and the water needs constant treatment to avoid odors and algae. It takes up a significant portion of the backyard, taking away the exact square footage your family would use for everything else. There is a case in the suburbs that local real estate circles often mention. A neighbor's family dismantled an above-ground pool and drained the water straight into the yard. The yard was sloped, and the water rushed down, causing severe erosion. That house was deemed unsafe to live in. The 2 houses on either side were also affected. The remediation cost was estimated between $300,000 and $500,000, all starting from removing an above-ground pool the wrong way. If young kids need a place to play in the water during the summer, portable splash pads or small inflatable pools meet the need perfectly without affecting the yard at all. If you truly want to make a serious investment, an in-ground pool designed from the start will bring many times more stable value, both in terms of aesthetics and resale. The next thing looks fantastic in magazine photos, but after 6 months, a lot of people turn it into a storage spot. 8. Freestanding tubs and whirlpool tubs. A freestanding tub placed in the middle of the bathroom looks beautiful. In magazines, in showrooms, and in the model homes you visit on weekends. But try living with it every day and see. If the bathroom is not truly large, and most bathrooms in America are not large, this tub quickly becomes an obstacle in the middle of the pathway. The clearance space behind and on both sides of the tub is a cleaning nightmare, wide enough for dust and moisture to accumulate, but narrow enough that you cannot clean comfortably. Stepping in and out is not easy either, especially for young children or older adults. And to be completely honest, most families only use the bathtub a few times a month, or even less. A significant amount of square footage is taken up by something that is almost purely decorative. With whirlpool tubs, the problem lies in the part you cannot see. The internal piping system requires meticulous cleaning. When not used frequently, grime and bacteria accumulate inside the small pipes. I have seen more than a few homes where the whirlpool tub turned into a holding area for unfolded laundry. That is not the exception. That is the rule. A deep soaking tub placed against the wall, or a well-designed walk-in shower area with a multifunctional shower head offers a comparable relaxation experience that you can actually use every day, is easy to maintain, and does not swallow up a third of the bathroom. The next mistake has the exact same root. Bigger does not mean better. 7. A kitchen island that is too large. Social media is full of photos of gigantic kitchen islands with extended stone countertops and 6 to 8 bar stools lined up, looking like a miniature hotel bar. Very beautiful to photograph. Very exhausting to use. The first issue is circulation. The minimum standard for clearance around a kitchen island is 42 inches. A lot of kitchens install large islands but fail to meet this number, and you will feel it every single day. Opening the dishwasher and having to lean your body to avoid the island, 2 people being unable to walk past each other, or pulling out a cabinet drawer only to hit a bar stool. These are small inconveniences repeated hundreds of times each week. The second issue is the broken kitchen triangle. This principle has existed for decades because it is true. The sink, the cooktop, and the refrigerator need to be near each other so you can operate seamlessly while cooking. A kitchen island that is too large stretches this distance out, turning every cooking session into a walk around a lap. The kitchen looks larger but functions slower. The larger the island's surface, the more time-consuming it is to clean, especially if your family cooks frequently. Stone edges extending down both sides, waterfall style, look luxurious but are prone to chipping from being bumped by bar stools, and the fabrication costs are significantly more expensive while the resale value barely increases proportionally. You do not need to ditch the kitchen island. You need a kitchen island that is the right size for your kitchen. In limited spaces, a compact island or a mobile cart that can be rolled out when needed provides a much better experience than a fixed block of stone that you have to walk around every day. 6. Open shelving and glass front cabinets. Open shelving in the kitchen starts with a very cute idea. Remove the cabinet doors, display beautiful dish sets, and create an airy, minimalist feel. In photos, it is perfect. In reality, it turns you into someone who has to clean the kitchen twice. Once after cooking, and once to make everything on the shelves look good again. The kitchen is not a showroom. It is where you cook every day, with grease splattering, steam rising, and fine dust floating around. Without cabinet doors for protection, all of it sticks directly to everything on the shelves. Spice jars, bowls, dishes, and cups. Nothing escapes. And this is not a once-a-month cleaning issue. If you cook regularly, it is a weekly chore. The bigger paradox is that open shelving cannot be used for the things you use the most. Plastic food containers, bags of dry goods, miscellaneous bottles and jars. All essential things, but nobody wants to display them. Over time, you need extra cabinet storage elsewhere to make up for the lost storage square footage. Glass front cabinets are often seen as a compromise solution, but they create a different kind of pressure. The inside is still completely visible, so you have to arrange things almost perfectly neatly. The glass surface also catches fingerprints, steam, and wipe marks, requiring continuous cleaning just to keep a clean appearance. It looks beautiful on day 1, and every day after that demands that you keep it looking as beautiful as day 1. If you like the open feel, limit it to 1 or 2 small spots to place a few decorative pieces or frequently used items. For the rest, closed cabinets are something you will be grateful for every day. No need to display everything. Just having a kitchen that functions comfortably is enough. But the next upgrade takes up an entire room, and almost nobody uses it enough to make it worth it. 5. Dedicated home theaters. From the late 90s to the early 2000s, having a dedicated home theater room in the house was something that earned the neighbors' respect. Reclining leather seats, a massive screen, a surround sound system, acoustic walls, and dim lighting. Some families spent $25,000 to $50,000 on this space. But now, ask any real estate agent listing a home with a theater room, and you will hear the exact same story. An agent in the Bay Area shared that he once listed a gorgeous home where the biggest highlight was a meticulously built-on home theater. During the open house, Every single buyer asked the exact same question. Can this room be turned into a guest bedroom or a family room? Nobody asked about the speaker system. The reason is simple. The way we watch movies has completely changed. A 75-inch television with a good soundbar in the living room meets 90% of an average family's entertainment needs. Nobody wants to get up, walk into a dark room, and close the door just to watch an evening episode. Families want to lounge on the sofa, talking while watching and eating snacks with the kids playing nearby. A dedicated home theater isolates you from the rest of the house, and that is exactly the opposite of how people live now. The square footage allocated for a theater room is usually enough to make a bedroom, a home office, or a family room that your family could use every day instead of just a few times a month. When a space is locked into a single purpose with a fixed layout, its adaptability drops to almost zero. 4. Overly large playsets and extensive backyard water features. Across 3 different transactions, a real estate agent shared that the buyers all set the exact same condition before signing. Remove the playset in the backyard. Not because it was broken, but because they did not want it. The sellers had to spend their own money to dismantle something they had once spent thousands of dollars and entire weekends assembling. Outdoor playsets for children have the shortest lifespan of use among all home upgrades. Young kids love them for the first 2 to 3 years. Then they grow up, their interests change, and the wooden or metal frame in the yard gradually turns into something nobody touches. It takes up space, degrades with the weather, and when you want to use the yard for another purpose, dismantling it becomes a whole project of its own. Large-scale backyard water features follow a similar path, just slower. Ponds, artificial waterfalls, and large-scale planters all require continuous maintenance. The water must be treated, plants must be pruned, and surfaces must be cleaned. When you go on vacation for 2 weeks, everything starts to have issues, and because they are fixed structures, you cannot move them away when you want to change how you use the yard. Another agent told a story about selling a house with a decorative fountain in the front yard that was twice the height of a standing person. The seller loved that fountain, but when moving away, they could not take it with them. The new buyer did not want to keep it either. In the end, they had to hire someone to remove it. That is the type of upgrade that is highly personal, beautiful to you, but almost nobody else wants to inherit it. If a playset is something a seller must remove before the house can be sold, the next upgrade is something the weather will remove for you. You just do not want to see the result. 3. Outdoor kitchens. I know a family that spent nearly $30,000 on an outdoor kitchen next to the pool. A built-in grill, an outdoor refrigerator, a sink, granite countertops, and lighting, fully equipped just like an indoor kitchen. For the first 2 years, they used it continuously. By the 3rd year, every time they wanted to grill, they had to wipe away dust, check for insects, and clean the surfaces before getting started. By the 4th year, they bought a small portable grill and barely touched the permanent kitchen area anymore. That is not an exception. Outdoor kitchens have a paradox that few people calculate in advance. The more you invest, the higher the maintenance costs, and the motivation to use it diminishes over time. Harsh sun, sudden rain, humidity, and insects. The outdoor environment does not forgive any material, no matter how expensive. Metal tarnishes, pipes need checking, and countertops must be wiped continuously. When not used frequently, everything degrades faster. In terms of real estate, a degraded outdoor kitchen is a heavy negative. An agent shared that in a $3 million home he was selling, the outdoor kitchen area was the biggest detractor. Everything else in the house was beautiful, but the old and degraded outdoor kitchen area made buyers look at it as an extra expense they would have to pay for, not an added value. 2. Marble countertops. Marble is beautiful in a way that few materials can match. The natural veining, the cool surface, and the luxurious feel every time you touch it. But having marble in the kitchen is like raising something very beautiful yet very high maintenance. You have to take care of it more than it serves you. Marble by nature is calcium carbonate, which means it reacts with acid. Lemon juice, vinegar, wine, and even some types of tap water can etch the surface. A wine glass forgotten overnight does not just leave a stain. It etches directly into the stone. Those marks cannot be wiped away. They are there permanently. In a busy family setting where the kids do their homework on the kitchen island and dinner has to be finished in 30 minutes, You cannot stand guard over the countertop all the time. After a while, high-use areas begin to look completely different from the untouched zones. The surface dulls unevenly, scratches accumulate, and the countertop that was once the highlight of the kitchen starts to look tired. Sealing helps to an extent, but it must be done periodically and does not prevent it completely. Marble look quartz is the choice that most contractors and designers now recommend. Non-porous, no sealing required, acid-resistant, and current technology creates veining that is almost indistinguishable from real marble. If you absolutely insist on natural stone, quartzite is significantly harder than marble and withstands impacts much better. The final mistake is something most homeowners make for a very understandable reason. They love their home too much. 1. Over-personalizing the home. Everyone wants their home to carry their own personal stamp, and that is completely natural. But there is a line that many homeowners cross without realizing it, which is when personalization begins to interfere with the structure instead of just staying on the surface. Tearing down a wall to combine 2 bedrooms into one massive master suite sounds amazing until you sell the house and realize that the number of bedrooms is one of the very first factors buyers filter for on every real estate site. Removing a bedroom means removing a massive pool of potential buyers. Similarly, building highly specialized functional rooms, designing details that only serve one specific hobby, or changing the layout in a way that is difficult to reverse all make the home harder to sell. Painting walls a bold color can be repainted. Changing door handles, swapping light fixtures, hanging pictures, all are easily reversible. But tearing down walls, combining rooms, and building highly specialized structures cost money to fix and narrow down the group of interested buyers when it comes time to sell. A better approach is to keep the layout as is and use removable furniture to serve your current needs. The rule of thumb for keeping any upgrade: put your personality into things that are easy to change, and keep the structure flexible. The best home is one that serves you today without causing trouble for you or the next person tomorrow. For every upgrade you consider, ask one question before signing. If I sell the house in the next 5 years, will the buyer pay extra money for this thing or deduct money because of it? The answer tells you whether you should do it or not.